What's up, guys? Mason LeBron Henderson here, and this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, Episode 7! Deals with our devils. Clearly, I'm very excited to talk about this, because holy shit. This episode was freaking awesome. I had to wait a few weeks to see it, but it was worth the wait. I mean, holy crap. So much happened in this episode. And, you know, at first I was kind of like, are they going to bring all of the characters back that we lost in the last episode? They did, but they did it in such an entertaining way that I don't even care about the fact that we didn't dwell longer on this, that we didn't really, really look at this further, see what else we could do with this. No, it was, they were gone in the last episode, they're gone at the beginning of this one, by the end of it, they're back. Normally I would be upset with the fact that they didn't use this longer, that they didn't, try to make this a bit more of a story, to try to drag it out a little bit. I'm not upset at all with what they did here, because there's so many interesting things going on. There's so many fun things going on. There's so much intrigue and mystery going on. I've got so much to talk about. I don't even know where to start. And that's a good thing. And normally, normally whenever an episode is this full of information and story, normally it gets cluttered. Normally it feels like, oh, you're giving me too much in one episode. This one had three main stories going on, and they tackled each one. They hit the points they needed to hit. They hit the emotional moments. They got the good dialogue in it. It was really, really well written, and really well acted, and really well shot, and really well directed, and really well edited. All of it was so good. I mean, first of all, this entire episode, watching it and then rewatching it with whoever, either Fitz and Coulson or Robbie, that was awesome. Like, I'm watching it and I'm just like, they're doing very well at keeping it exactly how it was going. There are a couple times where we see it from an angle that we weren't looking at before. So there's one moment when they're in the Zephyr and Daisy and Mac are talking. And so we see like Mace and May just standing there looking at the screens. That was kind of awkward, but you kind of understand because at the time they're not talking. They're listening to what Daisy and Mac are saying. So it makes sense within the context of the scene. And the fact that we managed to keep it well condensed and to the point where all of this is going on at the same time that you know what's going on the outside. Like you saw this scene before, you're seeing it again, but through a different pair of eyes. And I love how they did it. They did it so well. There weren't, if there were mistakes, they were probably minimal. Like probably something that you wouldn't even really notice unless you watched it again and again. Like watched it, okay, let's watch this scene and watch this scene at the same time, see what's different about it. Honestly, I couldn't notice anything. So the fact that they did it to the point where I don't notice that if there are any mistakes, that's good. Because most of the time I'm only going to watch it once. So that part was really well done. The story with Simmons at first seemed just kind of like, where's this coming from? Maybe this is just a plot to get her out of the way so she can't be there to help out Fitz whenever he goes missing. But ultimately, even that got pretty interesting because we got to see her kind of use her understanding of what Inhumans are, of who they are, and use that to sort of help whoever this is trapped inside their cocoon to help him calm down to the point where she can start to take it off. And just when she gets the face part of it off, they drag her out of there. So clearly all they wanted to do was get to the point where they could actually talk to the guy inside, but they don't want him released yet. So it makes me, obviously I think this is going to be a season, or the second half of the season type story. It feels like with the winter finale coming next week, I feel like this is going to be the end of the Ghost Rider storyline, which I'm kind of sad about because I kind of wanted a whole season of Ghost Rider, but I do like the fact that they're keeping his story very tight and compact, and it's not overstaying his welcome. Like they could do something where it's just like, oh, let's have a whole season of Ghost Rider, but you really think about it, one of the things that Marvel shows are doing really well right now is they're keeping it tight and compact. The Netflix shows, they have 13 episodes to work with, So they keep the story well compacted within those 13 episodes. They don't stretch it out really long. They don't have moments where you're just like, God, this is going on forever. They have the emotional moments, and it feels like that's what they're doing here. You're stretching out this story over 8 episodes, and that's all you need. You don't need to go farther. He may make an appearance in the second half of the season, I don't know, but it feels like that's what it's building up to. Like, this is the finale for Robbie Reyes. And maybe he'll get his own show. Who knows? But I love what they're doing here. They're setting up for the future part of the season with this Inhuman that's coming out of nowhere. I'm guessing it's the one that was in the senator's house when she was talking to him. I don't know who he is, what he's going to become, but clearly it's a big talking point going on. But yeah, I mean, the rest of it, aside from the Simmons part of it, was just very well connected. You got to see, you see Fitz and Coulson kind of working together to get through to May and Radcliffe. And ultimately, Fitz realizes, wait, I can talk to Ada because she's not human. And that's what he does. He gets her to look at the Darkhold, which I think by the end scene where she's making the human brain with her little gloves, I think we've seen that maybe giving AI the Darkhold book was not the best idea, because we may have another Ultron on our hands, possibly. I hope not. But anyway, that was the best option for who was there. Radcliffe or May, if they tried to look at the Darkhold, it would just overflow their minds and pretty much do what it did to Lucy's husband and to Robbie's uncle. So Ada manages to build a portal to bring Coulson and Fitz back. And throughout all of this, we just had this really good storyline going on. And we see Coulson and May, I guess there's something else there. Like, we didn't even... I knew there was an emotional connection there. I knew that they felt for each other. I wasn't sure how deep the feelings went, though. This episode, we see there's something there. It's more than just they are good friends. It feels like they're maybe possibly a bit more intimate than that. We'll see if that's what it's going for. I don't know. Maybe they are just going for really close friends. But it feels like they are a bit more intimate. So we'll see if that's where it's headed. But then on top of that, we see Fitz. He follows the director into a room. Normally he wouldn't hear this phone call, but he hears the director talking about he can't get a hold of Simmons. He calls the senator, and Fitz is like, what have you done with her? And so we have this nice, really, really emotional scene. And once again, I mean, the acting in the show is just, most of the time it's spot on. There are very few scenes I can think of in these first 4 seasons where I just thought, man, that acting was terrible. Most other shows you can look at moments where you're just like, well, that was kind of cheesy, or that they didn't really do that right. This show, I can't think of any moments like that. I mean, when Fitz blows up on Coulson because of what happened to Simmons, because he knows Simmons is somewhere else, it's an emotional scene. You believe him. You believe that he is deeply torn up by this, and that he's really pissed at Coulson because Coulson is kind of the reason. Not directly, but if he hadn't stepped down, if Mace hadn't been appointed, Simmons wouldn't be working with the senator right now. And that it makes sense. You understand why he's blowing up on Coulson. And it's just, it was a very touching moment as well, because Coulson, he grabs him by the neck and holds him close and just like, don't worry, we'll get through this. We'll get Simmons back. So it's just a nice moment between them. And frankly, we don't see a whole lot of interaction between the original team that often. Most of the time they're kind of separated. So the fact that Fitz and Coulson just have this nice moment, it just brings back memories of season 1 when the team was first getting together and, they're working off of each other. That it brought me back. It was a little bit nostalgic. So ultimately then Ada manages to build the portal. They manage to come back. And one of the other nice touches is Coulson nearly gets dragged into, I guess they're calling it hell. Obviously I don't think it's actually going to be like hell if you believe in hell. I don't know if they're actually going to make it that type of hell, but I guess it's going to be sort of the Marvel version of hell, which in this case looks almost like, I mean, if you've seen Doctor Strange, what he was getting pulled into, the way that reality was sort of breaking behind him, it looked like little glass shards breaking off, that's the same effect that they use in Doctor Strange. So I like that little touch. I like the fact that they bring that effect in, because it does connect it to the movies now. Now I watch Doctor Strange, I see him bending reality there. I see reality bending here, and I'm like, that's the same thing. It's connected. So who knows? Maybe we'll see more mystical stuff as the season goes on. But that was a nice little touch. So they managed to get him back. The other side of the story, which had me just giggling, like I'm not even afraid to admit it. I was giggling like a little girl. I was so I was nerding out. That's what it was. I was nerding out because we see Robbie is starting to get really cold, and it's just like, what's going on with him? And ultimately, he's just like, he starts saying he doesn't want to go back. He doesn't want to go back. And all of a sudden, like, he just gets lifted off the ground and then plops back down. And we see Mac turn around, Ghost Rider. I'm just like, holy crap, Mac is the Ghost Rider now. I was freaking out. I was like, holy crap, Mac's the freaking Ghost Rider. Oh, it was awesome. It was freaking awesome. I mean, first of all, he's already got the shotgun axe. I mean, come on. The shotgun axe. And then he becomes the Ghost Rider, and now he's riding around on the motorcycle, and Daisy chases after him in the car. Robbie ends up going with her. And so this whole scene, I mean, first watching the scene without seeing Robbie in it, and then seeing what Robbie's going through, you could kind of guess that whenever Daisy walked in on Mac talking with his back turned to her, you could kind of guess that he was talking to Robbie, but seeing him communicate with him, and then ultimately Robbie does convince him, look, we'll work something out. Let's make a new deal. If you help me settle my score, I'll help you settle all of yours. So, once again, kind of playing into the idea that next episode they're going to settle things with Robbie's uncle, and then that's it for the Ghost Rider. Maybe he'll go and do his own thing where he has to settle the scores of the damned and whatever he has to do. So it's just more confirmation for me that next episode will be the last time we see Ghost Rider, at least for a little while. But, I mean, even that was an emotional scene where we see, first of all, Mac's skull turns into Flaming Skull, so that was freaking crazy. But then we see, like, Robbie really pleading. Like, he's desperate to get the Ghost Rider back, and he wants also to save Daisy because she's in danger at the moment. And so ultimately the Ghost Rider does go back into Robbie. They end up going, I guess, to Marble Hill. And then ultimately we see that there's something deeper going on with Mac. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if we'll talk about it a bit more. But one of the things that Ghost Rider says to Robbie is, there's enough pain in this body that I can live for a long time. And so it's kind of like, obviously we know that he's hurt by quite a few things. The fact that Daisy turned her back on him whenever everything that happened with Lincoln, she just left. And, she was his partner, so that does affect him. And on top of that, Yo-Yo betrayed him because she was working with Daisy without telling him. So that he is dealing with some of that, but this seems deeper. Like whenever you see Daisy tell Coulson Mac's going through some stuff, he needs some time alone, and we see Mac sitting next to the portal, which Robbie ends up coming out of, and we see that intense scene at the end where he's just like, you want, or I think Robbie says, do you want to help me settle my score with my uncle? So we see that Mac knew that was going to happen, and he wants to take down Eli. So, but before that even happens, he's just sitting there, and it's just like really teary-eyed, looking really sad, and he's holding a picture, and it says hope on it. Now, maybe I forgot something because we did see that one scene in the last season where he went back to his old home and his brother was there and the watchdogs, all that happened. But I can't remember if anything happened there that I'm forgetting now. But I am curious to see, what is that picture? What's on the picture? What's he dealing with? Is his brother possibly gone? Like, did something happen to him that we don't know about yet? Either way, something is going on with Mac as well. So we have a lot of mystery going forward. What's going on with Mac? What's the deal that Robbie made with the Ghost Rider? What's this settling your score? What's going to happen now with Ada because she looked into the Darkhold and saw something that apparently told her how to create the human brain? What were they being pulled down into? What were Coulson and Fitz about to be pulled into? What is that? as far as Marvel goes. Um, and just, what's going to happen with Eli, because we saw he's clearly super powered right now. Like, all he had to do was just think, and all of these guys had carbon bursting out of him. So, yeah, it's going to be a very difficult fight. I feel like he's a little bit overpowered at this moment. Like, it should just be they walk into the room and he just thinks and then they're all dead. I'm sure there will be some way around that, so who knows what they're going to do. But yeah, it's really exciting. It's really fun to watch. Holy crap, so much to talk about. Just so many things to think about, so many things to mull over. I hate that next week is the mid-season finale, the winter finale, because I don't want it to end. I don't want to have to wait 2 more months to come back to it, because I love this show so much. It's so good. It's so intense. It's emotional. It's fun. It's exciting. It's all of these things that I want in an action show. The relationships are there. And this is something that I'm just going to touch on for a second, because obviously Fitzsimmons are just adorable. But here's the thing. They did get a bit of focus in the first 3 seasons. We find there was that romance, and then you couldn't tell if they were going to get together or not. But here's the thing with that. It was never taking the focus away from the main story. It was always there. It was always on the side, but it was there. And that was the fun thing about it. That's why Fitzsimmons is my favorite relationship in all of my shows, because it was built up so well. It was built up on the side, so it was never distracting. And on top of that, I mean, they were just, from season 1, they were meant to be together. So to see them together, to see them interacting, to see, Fitz breaking down because of what's going on with Simmons right now, it's emotional stuff, and it gets me where I need to be got. It gets me in the feels. I want that in my shows. So I don't know what else I can say about it, guys. I mean, I've praised this show enough. I feel like if you have not watched this show and for some reason you tuned in for this episode, maybe you're just watching this season, I implore you, go back to season 1, watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from episode 1 of season 1, get through the first half of the first season, because it is a bit slow. It takes time to build up its characters, but I tell you what, it's easily my favorite show. There are several other shows I love. This one is easily my favorite because of what they do with their characters, because of the chances they can take, and how much fun it is. It is so enjoyable and so much fun to watch. It's a great show. So, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Is this a great show, or am I just blinded by Marvel love? I'll admit it, I'm a Marvel fanboy. I don't care. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know. We can talk about, discuss, all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.